So let's talk about Pete Hegseth. He was a Fox News personality, and a police report on a 2017 sexual assault allegation against him was released earlier this week, and the details are really disturbing. He denies the allegations, but this comes 1 week after Donald Trump nominated him to serve as his defense secretary. After seeing Matt Gaetz' fate, what do you think about Pete Hegseth?
Again, he's going to have a similar problem because this was something that was not disclosed to the Trump campaign. It was something that was not disclosed to Fox News if he ever wants to go back there. And, you know, even so, when you look at the police report and you look at what Hegseth is claiming, the best case scenario, if you take what he's admitted to happening, is that while his third wife was home with their newborn child, who was conceived while he was still married to his second wife and the mother of, I think, 3 of his other children. While his wife was home with the baby, he was at a conference and he was hitting on 2 women who didn't want to get involved with him, and then took up with this other woman who he knew was married. That's not great, and that's not really anything that's morally upstanding. The real messy part of this is that the woman who has accused him of these things believes that she was drugged. She says she doesn't remember part of the evening, and the witness testimony of her smiling and walking along with him, that actually could be a result of being drugged. I don't want to get into details because it's not my story to tell, but I've had friends in the past who have had their drinks spiked at bars. And one of them, I was with her when it happened, and I was able to get her home. And she was smiling and laughing until she felt very sick. So I've seen this for myself, that some of these drugs that can make you very ill and make you lose your memory and make you not able to, legally give consent to things that happen, can have you standing and talking and laughing. So I personally find that heartbreaking and believable in her accusations. The whole thing is just very messy and disturbing. And again, the issue, the cover up is worse than the crime. What we do know is that Hegseth paid this woman and had her sign a non-disclosure agreement because he was worried it would mess up his employment with Fox. And the Trump campaign didn't apparently know about it beforehand either. So it's one of those things where it's like, when you try to hide something that comes out, it's bigger and messier than when you tried to bury it in the first place. So it's not great.
Really messing, really disturbing allegations here. And your colleague, my former colleague, Colby Hall, wrote this for Mediate. Character matters. A serial philanderer accused of rape should come nowhere close to Secretary of Defense. Do these nominees show that character does not matter, or character does matter to a point, or character doesn't matter, but until the votes shape up the way they are, then character matters? What do you think?
I think we've seen, again, this is a case where what Trump can get away with, his support. If it was just a simple matter of an affair, that's a lot easier to shrug off. But a rape allegation that is messy and complicated and he took steps to conceal are a problem. And when you pair that with some of his controversial comments on television, on podcasts, the things he's written in his books, he takes a very hardline view that some critics have called sexist and misogynistic about women in the military. I've read excerpts of it. To be clear, I have not read the entire book, so I want to be very transparent about that. But the excerpts I've read, there were multiple sections where he describes the ideal soldier as a straight white man. That he questions the ability of women to be in combat. He questions the ability of women to serve at all. He questions having women in leadership. He derides the current leadership of the U.S. military as wanting to, if we can just get some Black lesbian women, promoted, then we've done our job. That's like a key goal. So over and over again, he said these things that are being criticized as sexist and misogynistic. And not, it's one thing to criticize military decision making as too politically correct or woke or whatever. It's a whole different thing if you're coming in acting like these people shouldn't be part of the military at all, because the fact is that the U.S. military has had women in key roles. I mean, World War II, there was nurses, and there were people working in the factories, and there was a lot of support roles, and we've had women involved, for decades in the U.S. military. So this is not something that's getting unwound. And so to have somebody in there that is so hostile to that and questioning the ability of somebody to serve, combined with this very troubling, very disturbing rape allegation. And again, Colby's column about the very messy serial philandering. If I'm correct, I think wife number 3 was a Fox News producer on a show he was working on. I mean, again, he was married with young children. It's messy. It's just messy. It's just, it's nothing anybody wants to cheer for.